Hello everyone, and welcome to another manga read along. I'm starting today with chapter 1096 of One Piece. I will read 3 to 4 chapters, I'm not sure yet how many. And the first 2 videos are still exclusive for patrons and Ko-fi members and everyone who has access to my Discord. And then I also posted to Patreon. I'm going to start posting. I've done 2 videos. Today is the third one. So let's say from next week, I said I'll put it like a month in advance or something. I'm going to start making the videos public so that we can all read along. But I just want my patrons to feel that they have a big benefit by getting it very early. Obviously, because I really appreciate their support. And then I wanted to say, just regarding last week's read along, last week's title was Better Off Dead in This World. And yeah, that was the title of the chapter 1095. And then that chapter, the last quote that I took note of, because I didn't make notes of the last chapter in last week's video, but I did take some notes of just an overview of what happened. And then I wrote down Ivankov's quote at the end, and he said, "Look at all those gloomy, miserable faces. Well, I choose life. What about you?" So that's really a very, very memorable one for me. But regarding the title, I want to kind of link the title to an episode of another anime that I saw this week. So I won't do any big spoilers, but if you've watched it, you'll know. So I'm just going to mention the name of the anime, but if you don't want to even know the name, I will hold up this as a spoiler warning, and then when I put it down, you can unmute me, but I'll just briefly discuss it, okay? So mute me now. So in this week's episode of Dan Da Dan, it was episode 7. It was the episode was called To a Kinder World. And I just feel like for some reason it really linked with the last chapter of One Piece that I read. Not thematically, but at some point during Dan Da Dan, I was talking to some people in the comments, and they were saying this and that, and then I was hoping for this, but then someone pointed out something in the episode, and then I literally thought of, instantly it just popped into my head, the title of One Piece, Better Off Dead in This World. And then I felt so like sad and hopeless. But then I remembered the title of Dan Da Dan, and I remembered Ivankov's quote at the end of the chapter, which was to a kinder world, and while I choose life, what about you? So it just kind of reminds me that even though there's all this dark and bad things happening, at the end of the day, being sad about it, it doesn't really solve any problems. Most of us aren't in these kind of extreme situations, so all we can really do is add a little bit of kindness back into the world as much as we can. And hopefully it will be like a ripple effect that will, After Waifu Wars, you need another big benefit? Oh, you're talking about patrons. Yeah, Waifu Wars is a fun game that we get to play together. But don't remind me, because right now the roles just reset, and now I want to roll before we get started with reading. Maybe I can get another key. Maybe I can finally get my Luffy key in a One Piece manga read along. That would be the cherry on the cake. Even though cherry is not here, I could still get a cherry on my cake. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Luffy key, Luffy key. We'll try again in an hour. Okay, so heading over to chapter 1096. It's called Kuma. And the picture on the cover is reader request. Zoro lamenting losing a game of musical chairs to chihuahuas in the woods. That's so random. So random. Okay, let me just take a sip here. Hi, George, and hi, Menar. Um, I don't know if I'm planning to go to Japan again anytime soon, but it would be nice to go again someday. But okay, the chapter starts with, I guess it's the manhunt getting started, everyone running, and the text. We've already introduced the 13 super rare rabbits. They are worth 10,000 points each. There are also 150 rare rabbits. And then there's just like, wait. A lot of people running away. 1 hit kills will earn you an excellence bonus. And we have some very fine prizes indeed for the champion. Watch this, children. That trophy will belong to the Man-Mayor family. You won't win this one, Garling. You can't do this. It's too unconscionable. Wake me up from this nightmare. Human beings shouldn't treat other humans as toys. Ha ha ha. Not so fast, boys. Obey the rules. No, my child. Meanwhile, there are 200 world noble hunters. The hunt will begin in an hour. Run and hide, rabbits. Soto said, if the super rare bunnies are women in bunny costumes, I want them too. This isn't a game of Nikki. I will not laugh. It is very serious. But yeah, this is gonna, I can understand why they took a break for, 6 months or whatever they're taking, when this is what they need to animate. Not even so much in terms of animation. I'm talking about like telling this story. It's tough. And you have to take into account, like, I guess, what time this airs. There are only certain things that can show. I don't know. Navy headquarters. Why such a remote island? I can't tell you. Please, Garb, just go. We're not certain yet, but we can't afford to take chances. Navy headquarters. This is still in the flashback, right? Why such a remote island? I can't tell you. Just go. Oh, someone is like, someone is trying to out them. Okay. We're not certain yet, but we can't afford to take any chances. Is this the Celestial Dragon's little field trip? I warned you not to mess with Fula Lid, but who listens to me? That was treasure from Pirate Island. Of course they'll come back to get it. Who leaked that information? They've got plenty of security, right? Why the fear? Well, the thing is, we didn't think Roger would get involved. Lead with that next time. I'm going. Okay, wait, I'm confused. He's not outing them. He's saying Roger might show up. Now I have to read that again. So we are at the Navy headquarters and the guy on the phone says, why such a remote island? No, that's Garp saying that. I can't tell you. Please, Garp, just go. We're not certain yet, but we can't afford to take chances. Celestial Dragon field trip. I warned you not to mess with Fula Lid. But they're at God Valley. So what does Fula Lid have to do with it? Am I going to find out later? Yes, I was just mentioning the time slot because of the content of this chapter. So I was saying they have to consider the time slot in which they air it. Okay, but anyway, so Garp is being told that Roger is involved. We didn't think Roger would get involved. Lead with that next time. I'm going. Pirate Island, Fula-led New World. They got the jump on us. The Rocks pirates have already left. We gotta catch up. Come on. There's a huge deal in the pirating world. The island is surrounded. I've never seen this many Navy ships before. Of course, there's no escape. The reality of this atrocity itself will be erased from history. Who's saying this? And the God Valley is in West Blue. I should probably take a note of that. They've concocted this sick murder game to drive off the inhabitants of the island so they can take its resources. Would you believe that 100,000 rabbits who live on this island will all be dead to the very last man in just 3 weeks? Is this real life or is this hell? That reminded me of a song. Is this the real life? Is it just fantasy? Caught in a lie. Sorry. No escape from reality. But if we can survive the next 3 weeks, we'll be free. Stop dreaming, fool. The total number of survivors of all of these games combined is 0. Huh? But why would they tell us that just to give us hope? So that you'd run and not just stand there and be shot out of no hope. One Piece the musical. Because it's the hope that makes us struggle and run. What's so fun about killing people who only fall to the ground and abject in despair? In abject despair. Don't waste your time dreaming of salvation in this sick game. We have to escape the game itself. And St. Garland already has 100,000 points. Is he going for the high value rabbits? Yes, it's off. Thanks for those mighty jaws, my fishman friend. Shark fishman friend. Thank you. No one's ever said that to me before. The prizes for the event are the key to our escape. Prizes? They've got one of the most powerful devil fruits in existence. It allows whoever eats it to transform into a mythical azure dragon. And also the pawpaw fruit, which allows the user to send others and themselves to distant islands. They're both here on God Valley. Pawpaw fruit is so random. I don't understand why that power is connected to that pawpaw fruit. Like what? And pawpaw is funny because a pawpaw is a fruit. There's a real pawpaw. My dad used to grow them in his backyard. Or there was one tree which grew them. Let me show you. Pawpaw, South Africa. Pawpaw is a fruit that can be grown in South Africa, and here are some tips for growing it. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, this is what it looks like. At least this is the ones that you take away the seeds and then you eat the inside. It's quite good. A bit watery, but not bad. I like it. So basically a papaya, I guess, but it's a pawpaw. Pawpaw fruit. Both papaya and pawpaw are the same species. The caricacaya, which originates from Mexico in the tropical region or something. What's the difference between a pawpaw and a papaya? A papaya has red flesh and it's oval like a rugby ball. A pawpaw has yellow, is slightly larger and rounder like a soccer ball. Okay, no, I wouldn't call it a soccer ball. Ours were this shape, like that. But this looks very much like a papaya. But it's not red, it's more yellow. I don't know, but we called it a pawpaw. Okay, let's continue. So, an azure dragon fucking fruit is on the island. If any of us can eat them, the dozens of us here can get past the Navy blockade and escape this hell. I'm done dealing with Hanku. No, we can't. The prizes are in the center of the island. But I'm a pro at thieving, tapping, and transmissions. 2 weeks ago, I managed to send a message about the island to the outside. Maybe someone heard it. Anyway, for our plan, we're going to need a decoy. I'll do it. Kuma. I'm big and hardy, so I can survive longer than others. And I don't want to see anyone die anyway. Yeehaw! Well said, Kuma. I won't let them kill you. Let's get off of God Valley together. And then there's a huge explosion. So, I mean, it makes sense about the azure fruit because the rocks pirates consist of, I remember 1 or 2 names, but we're getting to it. There it is, right there, there they come. Oh my God, there they come. Okay, explosion. What was that? It's the rocks pirates east of the island. But why? It's not just them either. There are more ships coming. They're all infamous pirates. Why didn't we hear about this? What do they want? You waste your time, Navy. Follow me, rocks pirates. Ah! Not so fast, rocks. Who said I was your follower, fool? Wait, who's Rocks? Where's Rocks? That guy, this guy. I don't know. Oh, Newgate, not you too. I assume it's finders keepers. They'll be mine. But you can't do anything with them, Lin Lin. But you can. Don't be so pathetic, Stussy. Stussy? Excuse me? What? Who's this with the snake? Sotos, there's a snake girl. There's a snake girl. Sotos, do you see? Is that the Baba? Same to you, Gloriosa. That's the Baba. Who's this one drinking so much? Fee, 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 fee. Excuse me? Did someone just go fee, 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 fee? Isn't that... No. It's just a coincidence. Can't be. No. I just know that fool Rocks will lose sight of the goal. We have to be certain first. So that's Whitebeard. Stop acting like you're the leader here. I'll blow them all up. Let's just steal what we're after and scram. All these dreamers with their heads in the clouds. But that's Lin Lin. I hear Roger's on the move. He's the last man I'll let... Calm down, kid. Today's the final fight, I assume. That's the idea. And then settle it once and for all. I think that is Gloriosa. Oh my lord. Wait, can I just take a screenshot? I need a thumbnail for my, this has to be. Some of those pirates were in Thriller Bark as zombies if you want to revisit one day. Well, I want to one day, but not soon. Shanks! The rocks... Oh, right! Because they were still part of... Oh my gosh. The rocks pirates have made landfall. What is the Navy doing? If they lay a single finger on us... Reporting in. Pirate crews are converging from all over. How did it get out? This was top secret. It's the Roger Pirates. What? It's been a whole year. Do you have any idea how I felt all this time? No special privileges for the captain here, Roger. This is going to be a wild one. So that's Ben Beckman. And that's Shanks. I can't. Where's. Okay. Pull back the sailors and have them guard the celestial dragons. The holy knights will handle this. Huh! Wait. I should have read like this again. Because I missed some text over here. Their purpose here is unclear. Watch out on the western shore. What's happening? It's Roger and Rox. This one, wasn't Rox mentioned in a movie too? Help! Help has arrived! It's Vice Admiral Garp! We're saved! So that's the Navy. Wait, let me just get an idea here. I need to like just recap. Paint. So currently we are on God Valley Island, right? And there is a hunt going on for what the Celestial Dickheads calls super rare rabbits and blah blah blah. But the reason the hunt is happening is because the island has resources that they want, right? So they're doing the hunt. Resources. They're doing the hunt to clear the island to get access to the resources. Gotcha, okay. But then on the island, the Celestial Dickheads, so they're there, and they're being protected by the Knights, which... Knights... A CD stands for Celestial Dickheads, by the way. I don't remember what their actual name is. They're protected, but there's also the Navy. This didn't have Garp initially. It was just like Navy ships or something. I don't know. I'm not sure how good right this is. But then someone said Roger was gonna get involved. So Garp came to protect the Haidu. Celestial Dickheads is their official name. Ah, thank you. I was not sure, but now I remember. So, as far as I understand it, this is where it gets iffy for me. The Navy was protecting the island, but were they aware? Some people must have been aware of what was going on, but I don't know if every single Navy guy actually knew what they were protecting here. They just thought we're protecting these celestial people. So Garp eventually came to protect, well, to get involved because Roger was involved. So Roger and Rox came for the devil fruit, I guess. And I don't know. So Rox, and that had Whitebeard and Lin and the one who got the Azure Dragon Fruit. And on this side we have Roger, and that included Shanks and Ben Beckman. The important ones definitely knew, yes. So they were going, and Garp was protecting probably the Navy, but also the island, I guess, but he mainly wanted to get involved with Roger. Okay, so that's where we're at. And then there's just thousands and thousands of, like 100,000 people on the island trying to just survive. But there was never any chance of escape. I mean, any chance to survive. They only gave them hope so that they'd run and not despair. And not run. Okay, hi Tyrone. Okay, so then it says here, help has arrived. It's Vice Admiral Garp. Woo, we're saved. Tell me where to find Roger. It's absolute chaos. I can't believe our luck. This is it? It sure is. I don't know which is what, but let's eat them. Oh, imagine if Ivankov got that dragon fruit. Oh. So Lin bashes in at that point, and Ivankov loses his fruit. I'll take that one too. So Lin reaches for Kuma. Eat it, Kuma, don't think. Eat the fruit. And save yourself. We just need one survivor and then we've won. Oh, Aima. Kuma! Wait, who's this? That is Saint fucking Demon Spider, right? Shit. Again? Why are you always getting involved, you... The Buccaneer boy. Your only options are slavery and death. History itself chose them for you. History? History chose it? Fuck you and your history. Are you important, mister? It doesn't make sense that you're born important. And there's no reason for someone to be born a slave. If I've got some kind of power, then I want to be like Nika and save as many of these unfortunate people as I possibly can. Which is why you people will vanish for good. Wait, rocks! Out of my way, Roger! This event would be lost to the dark shadows of history. He said to Kuma, who only said, if I can have a power, I want to use it to save others. And then he said, he's basically saying your desire to save others is the reason why you people have to die, as if that was their great sin, wanting to save others. Like, Sorbet Kingdom, South Blue. Ooh, South Blue. Okay, West Blue had God Valley. South Blue, now they're in the South Blue at the Sorbet Kingdom. Trying to insert these names and the places into my head. The only news story is the Legend of Garp's heroics. They won't print anything else. Fucking newspaper. Just what the powerful want. That's why I think it's so... There is obviously many benefits and drawbacks to having the internet, and people used to say that, if everyone had access to information and da-da-da-da-da, but people have kind of gotten more dumb, in a sense, even though that we have access to all... I'm not saying that literally, it's a joke mostly. But people now have access to all information at their fingertips. But it's like our interest, our what's it called? Our attention span has gotten shorter and shorter and less, and it hasn't really helped people in the way that we thought. But that doesn't mean it won't eventually, because people need to get used to something. Like, if you don't have any money your whole life and then suddenly you have a lot of money, maybe you won't utilize it good right away. Like, maybe you'd waste it and just buy all the stuff you never had, but then eventually you would probably mellow out if you don't destroy yourself in the process. You would probably mellow out and start like learning, okay, I've never had this much money, I've had my fun now, let's start using this for something meaningful. And then, but if you have someone that never had any money and then you introduce them to money slowly and you start teaching them skills and not just dump a bunch of money on them suddenly, they'd have a slower journey, but they'd, there's less of a chance of where they could destroy themselves, because oftentimes if someone goes from no money to lots of money, they end up overcompensating, overcorrecting, and they could end up hurting themselves and losing the money or whatever. My point is that the masses, we didn't have all this access to information, and suddenly we have everything at our fingertips. So obviously all of us, including me, including everyone, we didn't initially know how to use it. But there were some people from the very beginning that were utilizing it in great ways, but not everyone necessarily. What am I talking about? Why was I talking about this? Wait, how is it connected to the story? Power, information. Oh, the newspaper. So my point is, in the past, there was like the newspaper told you what to believe, the history books told you what to believe, blah, blah, blah. You read it and we trust it. But now there's like a new opportunity, and I'm especially talking about the news. Now there's a new opportunity where we can see a lot of news, official news places aren't doing as well as some influencers online. And you can now listen to literally anyone give their opinion on anything, and it comes with benefits and drawbacks. But I think the benefits outweigh the drawbacks as long as you curate in your own mind, you think critically about whatever, whether it's the news, whether it's an influencer on this side, an influencer on that side, an influencer in the middle. Like, you need to get in as much information as possible and then come to your own conclusions, take part in the conversation. The only thing is that it's very difficult when, you're struggling with your own life and just getting by, and then there's so much problems in the world and everyone has an opinion on it. So I get it, it's difficult, but my point is, we have all this information. We have access to people doing, independent journalism. We don't have to just listen to the one newspaper, because look how it's misused back then and in the present of One Piece, where with Luffy on Egghead, and then everyone's being told that Luffy took Vegapunk hostage, but that's not even what happened. So I'm just saying, be careful what you read online, and whether it's the news or someone just spouting their opinion, make sure you take in as much information as you can before you make up your final opinion, because it's so easy to manipulate things. Okay, anyway, the only news story is the legend of Garp's heroics. They won't print anything else, just what the powerful want. This Morgan's writer is such a hack. Morgan's? Even back then it was Morgan's? Or like Morgan's father? Like, is it a... What? It's still him? Well, I guess that makes sense. He started out pretty young, and then... How long ago was this? 20 years? I just said a random number. I can't actually... They were kids, and now it could be 30 years. I don't know. 20? Not Morgan Freeman. It was long enough for Big Mom to go from damn to no thanks. Excuse me, she had like 100 kids. That does stuff to your body, okay? 38 years. Okay, let's just say somewhere between 25 to 30 to 40 years. Okay, I don't need to know the exact number. Why are you still praying, Kuma? I'm thinking of the other lives I could have saved. Knock it off. Amidst all the chaos and violence, you saved over 500 lives back there. That's right, Kumachi. You were amazing. Everybody was crying with gratitude. Even I was. And now you've got Hands of Liberation that set people free. Hands of Liberation? He saved 500 people. That's amazing. And the most important part, like Iva said, just saving one person, just so that the truth of the story is not lost. Because that shit is important. The truth. So, your family ran a church? It explains so much about you. Well, it's time for me to go to sea. I've got to make the most of this freedom. For as long as I live, Iva, I'll never forget your face. Mahaha, no one ever has. I'm gonna stay here with Kumachi and figure out what to do with my life, bro. Kumachi. I don't know how to put the emphasis, but I'm just gonna go with Kumachi. Kumachi. I don't know. So long, my friends. And then they're waving. Okay, I'm 4 years older. So it's up to me to feed little Kumachi. Aww. 4 years older, but he's so much taller. Split those logs. Let's get selling. No more digging through the trash. No more stealing. We buy our food. Huh? You're 9? Liar! You're a monster! Ouch! Grah! Jenny? Ah! I'm sorry about that. Jenny's actually very nice. Yeah, if you don't bully people like a fucking asshole. Do you remember what Iva said to Kuma in Marineford? No. That's why, but no. Maybe send a screenshot in the One Piece chat, in the One Piece manga chat, but spoiler tag it. Wait, it's the One Piece manga chat, but yeah, but spoiler tag it just in case. I'm sorry about that. Jenny is actually very nice. Whoop whoop. Huh? It's bitter. The pain just flew away. Was that magic? Kumachi, kumachi. Nom, 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 nom. Not enough. For me? Yummy! You eat so much, Jenny. We've got a lot of work to do. When did they turn you into a slave, Kumachi? 4. Hey, me too. It's not something to celebrate. I'm so full. I'm so full. Kumachi. What? Don't cry, Jenny. I'm so happy. Oh, imagine that, like being full for the first time in since they were 4 years old. Imagine crying because you're happy because you're full. I was so full last night. I finished my stream and then I went downstairs and then I took some fried rice and then I put some salad stuff and then Sheldon was there and Hunko wasn't home yet. So I just talked to Sheldon and I ate my food. And then I had a small cup of coffee, and maybe that's why I couldn't sleep afterwards. No, lies. I can't sleep even if I don't drink coffee. Oh. Anyway, and then I went upstairs and I was like, oh, Hunko, I'm so full. And now I'm never gonna forget this scene every time I'm full. See, that's why kids need to be raised on One Piece so that they can appreciate everything they have. Because, like, if a kid is young, you don't want to put them through traumatic stuff. So, like, it would be tough for a kid to, like, if you make them watch the news the whole time about everyone suffering and this and that, blah, 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 it could be overwhelming and the kid could grow up with no hope. But if you read One Piece with them, for example, it will be difficult to see some things. But at the same time, it will teach them about hope and stuff. And it's easier to see a fictional character crying than a real kid, you know? Yeah. Maybe you couldn't sleep before of the cologne mystery. I didn't drink anything and I fell asleep at 11 a.m. Yeah, but you're a different story. Okay, so that is the first chapter that we will read for today. It was 1096 and it's called Kumachi. So let me just quickly go to here and 1096 Kumachi. I want to write down, I don't know if I've written it down before, but God Valley, Fajov, God Valley in West Blue, Sorbet Kingdom in, what was it, South Blue? And then there's just like we got some, like, what's the word? History? This is where this is where Kuma got his po no mi, and Big Mom took the azure dragon fruit from Iva and probably gave it to, or gave or lost it. I can imagine like they would fight over it. Gave or lost it to, what's his name? Kaio. No, Kaio sama is from Dragon Ball. What's his name? Something with the, I'm waiting for the chat. Kaido. Thank you. And lost it to Kaido because she already had her devil fruit, right? We saw when Big Mom got her devil fruit, right? In her backstory, and I think, did we? Did she? Because I remember. I don't know. Her backstory was about her parents abandoned her because they couldn't feed her, and then she was taken in by that lady. I need to rewatch that. She was taken in by that lady, and I remember a tea party where she lost all her friends. Is that what happened? And then someone like abducted her after that and groomed her to become, well, what she is today. Right? She ate mother and mother had the fruit. Oh, okay. So that's how, oh my God, transferring it like that. That's fucking crazy. I wonder if she just ate a part of mother, would she have gotten the fruit? Probably not. Like, what if she ate mother's arm, but mother didn't die? I wonder if she would have, like, that's just an interesting question. Okay, anyway. So that's the only thing right now I think I want to... This is where Kuma got his Popo no Mi, and Big Mom took the azure dragon fruit from Iva. Probably lost it to Kaido because she already had her devil fruit. Kuma saved 500 people on that, from God Valley. Iva sailed off to enjoy his freedom, and Jenny and Kuma stayed behind in Sorbet Kingdom, right? Okay, so let's continue on for now to the next chapter, 1097. Ooh. 1097 is called Jenny. Ooh. The cover story, the cover picture. Reader request. Bartholomew Kuma catching salmon in the river. Because he's a bear. So cute. And then he goes, boop. And there's Jenny, and she's got the barbecue ready. That's the cute man. If eating someone gives you power, devil fruit power, I wonder what Bibi did under that curtain with Whitebeard's body in the war. No! Oh my gosh! That has to be it, right? How else would it... Oh my God. Okay. This whole time I thought it was something unique to what the darkness fruit could do. I don't think so. I think he ate him. I don't know. There's still a chance. But I think he ate him. It's such a fucking BB thing to do, right? Cannibalism. Okay. Like conscious cannibalism. Like, ugh. Okay. 8 years after the God Valley incident, 30 years ago. Okay, so here we find out that this was 30 years ago, and before, 8 years after the God Valley incident. So you can put it together, 30 plus 8. That's why someone said 38. You probably forgot that it was revealed in this chapter, but yeah, luckily it's not so bad. So anyway, we hear 30 years. Wait, 8 years after the God Valley incident, 30 years ago today. Okay. Kumachi, I need your help. I've been coming here since your father's generation. It was such a shock when he up and vanished. Oh, he went back to his hometown. Oh. But I'm so glad to see his son growing into such a great pastor. I'm sure your parents are happy wherever they are now. Oh. Pastor Bartholomew Kuma, age 17. It's nothing but old folks in this poor kingdom. That's so much better. Thanks, my boy. I'm next. My back is killing me. Oh my gosh, I would so love to visit Kuma's church. If I could go to a church, I would go to Kuma's church. Hi, Nile. Thank you for the raid. Hi, Bernard. Oh, what a blessing it is, the miracle hands. But couldn't you extend hours to the weekdays too? Absolutely not. Only on Sunday. Ginny, age 21. You're asking a lot for people who aren't paying us any money. Behave, you greedy old beggars. Oh no, it's Ginny the cheapskate. Ha ha ha. Shut up. This ain't a campground or a hospital. So pretty, but so foul-mouthed. From what I hear, the men in town can't stop vying for her attention. But then again, she's already got Kumachi. The sight of Kumachi's face makes me feel at ease. Aww. That's so sweet of you. They act this way because you spoil them. I'd give you as much money as I could, Kumachi. But it was already hard enough just to get by while paying the heavenly tribute. And now we've got this new king, don't we? Can I just take a screenshot here? They say that King Beori is a cruel man with a heart of stone. If we get sick, we can't pay our share of the heavenly tribute. And then he'll throw us in jail. It's a travesty, I tell you. The last geezer they tossed in a cell starved to death, I hear. Starved. He won't even pay to feed the prisoners. Stupid skinflint king. What is skinflint? Hi, Doji. I always knew he was bad, the way he bows and scrapes to the celestial dragons. We have to be healthy, or it's a death sentence. Well, I can help by removing any light illness or pain you're feeling. Come every Sunday. Thank you, Kumachi. Bye. And then, does that mean... Yeah, he has to take on all their pain. And they don't know it. I thought it had to go somewhere. And Ginny has to sit there and listen to it. Every week you do this. And they have no idea how much you suffer for them. There's no other choice. That mass of pain and suffering won't disappear until someone accepts it. If left untouched, it makes its way back to the original person. But more than the pain, I feel delighted to see their happiness. I'm sorry to put you through this anguish. I'll toughen up and be stronger. That's not the issue. like a saint. So kind. I wish you could just like send it into I don't know what. Him doing that all the time and then ask for Zoro the same hits harder now, doesn't it? What do you mean? I know that he put that, but I think it would if I were to rewatch that arc and stuff. But right now, all I can think about is 17-year-old Kuma doing this for old people who can't get sick because their king is a fucking asshole. 25 years ago, Kuma, age 22. So if he's 22, she's 26. Let's get married. What? No. Why not? Marry me, damn it. You know you love me. I'll make you happy. I'm sure you would, but it's me. I'm the one who has Buccaneer blood. But my wife does not. Let her and my son go free. I don't want to bring you misery. Look, another article about the freedom fighters. They've caused protests in several countries, and now they're wanted by the authorities. Dragon. He's so cool. He must be someone's hero, I bet. One day, I want to go out to sea and use my life to help others too. Are you in there? It's the lovely Ginny. We caught a huge haul today. Please take some fish. Oh, thank you, Gyogyo. And then she throws him with a what? A bucket? Bonk. Ow! Dummy. 22 years ago, disaster struck. Give your prisoners back. Give your prisoners back? Help us, Kumachi. You dare defy the royal army? Who is this monstrous lug? Royal City, Sorbet Kingdom. Kuma, age 25. I'm a pastor from a church in the south. Well, Father, I'm sure that you've heard that the laws have changed. Now we're free to do what we want with people from the south. You're turning them into slaves? It is an unforgivable sin. Ah! This is rebellion! Your Majesty, I must admit that this policy is going over poorly with the people of the realm. Don't worry, they will soon be led astray by labels and look down their noses at the South. So wait, he just one day fucking decided, oh, people of the South can now be taken as slaves. That's what he said. He just decided it. Starting today, only the north part of the island is actual Sorbet Kingdom. The world government determines the amount of heavenly tribute owned by the number of citizens. Owed, okay. Oh, so he wants to pay less tribute. In other words, the South, with all of its old people who cannot pay their tribute, should be cut loose. In doing so, the country will be prosperous and balanced. See, when you say heavenly tribute, I only understand it as like a tax or something. And even though the taxes in my country get stolen and not used what it should be used for, so it's annoying, I can still understand the idea behind like tax if you pay it to someone and you trust that someone to put it back into the country because this is where we live. So meaning like, okay, I have my house and I do the yard and I pay the electricity and the blah blah blah, and even when the government doesn't give us electricity, and so my house is in an estate, meaning it's a walled community with about 50 houses, which is relatively small in compared to some others. But we also have to pay levies, which is like a tax to the estate, because the walls need to be maintained. We have security guards who make sure that not just anyone can walk in and out. There's a pool, a community pool that everyone gets to use, so they have to clean that. There's a little jungle gym for the kids that needs to be maintained. Stuff like that. The street needs to be taken care of. blah, blah, blah. So everyone, it makes sense for everyone to pay their levies, the tax, so that not only I maintain my house, but the community itself is maintained. So because I can understand that, I can understand it the same thing for a country, because there are streets and there are lampposts and there are blah, 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 blah. And but this is something else. This is like a heavenly tribute. So it goes there to fucking celestial dragons for what? So that you can be recognized as a part of this or that and for protection, but you're not being protected. Not really. Or I don't fucking know. And just because now, the thing is, they're old now, but they weren't always old. So if you're paying something, it should be so that you trust that you took care of others, and now when you're old and you can't pay the same amount, others should take care of you the way you did. But it's not even freaking, it's a heavenly tribute. Like, what are, I just wish I could understand. But it doesn't, you can't even stand up against it, because we saw what happens. You get thrown in jail if just a few people stand up against it, right? So you need a complete overhaul. That's where rebellions and shit comes in. But we talked about that a few episodes ago with Bello, Betty, and oh god. Okay, let's just. In other words, the South, with all of its old people who cannot pay their tribute, should be cut loose. In doing so, the country will be prosperous and balanced. Yes, because if I cut off my left arm, the right is there's balance. Yeah. Okay, so then these people got put in prison. Why are you in here too? We were clamoring for them to let you go. And then they beat us to a pulp. Heh, heh, heh. Ginny, I'm afraid our land is turning into a place of the haves and the have-nots. King, that's what I like about certain countries where taxes actually get used right. Like, maybe every country has their problems. But like when I think about a place like Japan, everyone works for as long as they can, and like they're happy to do it. Everyone everyone does their part. The streets are clean. Like if you, or Cherry said, like in Switzerland, if you don't have a job, the government will like give you a temporary job until you can kind of like get back on your feet again. Like there's all this kinds of, but it's tough because it's too tough. That's why the story does such a good job of showing these kinds of so anyway, I'm afraid our land is turning into a place of the haves and the have-nots. King Beori is just a tool of the celestial dragons. This whole plan came down from someone above him. If we want to fight back, we have to take on the whole world government. That's the problem. Ah, who are you people? Run, your majesty. Oh. That's Aiba, he's back. You won't escape, you sad imitation of a celestial dragon. He makes me boil with anger. The king's given in. The enslavement policy is no more. I'm so glad. I didn't want to live like that. Through someone's interference, the Sorbet kingdom avoided disaster. Someone's interference. This man you're infatuated with certainly is a wild one. You'll be impressed with him, dragon. Kuma, Jenny, so you've been imprisoned, eh? I'm here to get you out. What? Is that you, bro? She calls him Aniki, right? Iva, and is that... Listen up, Kuma. If you're still the same man as that boy back then, come with us and change the world. The freedom fighters led the protests in countries around the world after the arrival of the great era of piracy and the tragic fall of O'Hara, the group took up arms. And with the addition of Kuma to the twin pillars of Dragon and Ivankov, they underwent a transformation and became the revolutionary army the world would later know and fear. I'm going too! Who's that? The one with the hat. Huh? Isn't that the one with the hat? Wait! Who's that? This reminds me kind of like, obviously we should be careful. Not everyone who calls themselves a freedom fighter is necessarily what they say they are. But that's what I was saying earlier about critical thinking. Like, whatever anyone says, whether it's in the news or whether they call themselves freedom fighters, whatever, that's where critical thinking comes in. You don't just take people for their word. You make up your own mind, right? Don't just trust anyone blindly, because we've seen how that works out as well. So yeah, it reminds me of some conversation. Bob was saying something the other day about, wait. He was saying something. 135 years ago on this day, the Brazilian Republic was proclaimed, ending the monarchy that was in power for 67 years. It was the first military coup in Brazil. There was another in 1930. When he said coup, I thought of Attack on Titan. There was another in 1930 by Getulio Vargas, and in 1937, Getulio made another military coup to remain in power until 1945, and another military coup in 1964. That was the military dictatorship that ended in 1985. We had 5 presidents elected by the army during that last one. And I said, that sounds chaotic. In 1950, Vargas was elected as president after 15 years in power as a dictator from 1930 to 1945. And blah, 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 blah. So he was saying something about... here. In 1964, it was because the president at the time, Goulart, I don't know how to say that, was viewed as a communist. So the military made a coup to avoid a communist dictatorship. But they themselves started a dictatorship that cracked down on anyone they view as communist. It was supposed to be temporary, but it lasted 20 years. So they became what they hate. Surprise, surprise. So you just have to be careful, I think, with, as much as, of course, we can see from the story here that Kuma and Ivankov and Dragon, they were doing things in the right way and in the best way that they could, I think. Helping people. Like, they don't force, from what we've seen from Bello Betty and stuff, they don't force people to revolt, and they don't revolutionize a country because it benefits them in some way. They don't revolutionize it and then take it over and then stay there and control the people or anything like that. So, I mean, that's how you can almost know that you can trust them, right? I don't know. What do you guys think? I'm getting a headache. Okay, turn the page. We still lack a solid source of funds because people need to eat. You need to buy food. Food doesn't grow on trees. Well, it does, but not enough. You need still people to cultivate the land, and there's so much that goes into making food. So if you have a bigger group of people, you can't just live by walking around and picking apples off trees, right? So no matter what you do, you need to eat. And unless you're like living in the wild and living off the wild, if someone puts labor into making the food, you have to pay for it. That just makes sense. Or trade for it in some way. And clearly, their group is getting bigger and bigger, which means they have to procure more and more food and resources. So apparently they lack the funds for that. The plan is to act like mercenaries and lend our strength to rebellious elements seeking to overthrow their kings. Those who wish to join will be taught how to use weapons and fight with them. That's very good. They're not just throwing weapons at people and leaving the town to chaos. They're joining them, those who wish to rebel, and teaching them how to fight. Because I think a lot of places in the real world, they make a profit off of selling guns to places. Just thousands and thousands of guns. And they say, oh, because they want to support the rebellion there or whatever. But really, they just want chaos so that they can keep making guns, keep selling it, and keep profiting while they don't have to suffer like the people there are suffering from the chaos. So that is also something to be very wary of in the real world. But I like that they teach the people how to fight and then fight with them. They don't, that makes a big difference. One day, I want to raise this into a massive armed force scattered across the globe. How did you learn to use weapons, Dragon? I spent some time in the Navy. Sadly, I couldn't... Ooh, Dragon spent some time in the Navy. Sadly, I couldn't find any of the justice they wear on their backs. Nice. I like that. And I respect anyone who can acknowledge that. And whether they choose to stay and fight the justice from within or, go out, that's a bigger challenge to take on. You go out and you fight the injustice from without. Like, either way, I kind of respect those people as long as they're aware of the injustice taking place. Like, acknowledge it. Don't just blindly follow the rules when the rules don't make sense. Like, rules are good. We want to keep people safe. We want to keep people happy. We want to give equal opportunity to all. But, like, that's why Kizaru pisses me off a bit in the current arc. Because I'm like, dude, there's no way you don't know. Are you really just going to turn a blind eye and just follow the rules, whatever they may be? I don't want him to. It's strange to be at odds when both the Navy and Revolutionaries just want to help people. Well, I'm with you all the way, Dragon. You won't regret it. Oh, is Kumachi back? I'll return now and then. I want to make sure you are all right. That's so sweet. 8 more years passed. 8 more years. So he was like 25 or something. So now he's like 34, and that means she's like 38 already. 14 years ago in a certain country. You look happy, Jenny. Oh, is it showing? Tomorrow's the big day. We're gonna meet up with Kumachi's group, remember? I can't wait. Revolutionary Army Captain, Eastern Forces, Jenny. Wait! I'm not finished. Stop it. Wish I were Captain Kuma. He gets the affection of everyone's crush. What? Don't crush on me, you creeps. Grow up. What a mouth. Revolutionary Army Headquarters, Baltigo. Dragon, come in, Dragon. Jenny's been captured? I'm sorry, the enemy caught us unawares. Dun dun dun. Oh, look at Jenny. She's so cute. I like her. And she was so excited to see Kumachi. Sad. Okay. So in this chapter, there was a lot of talk about revolution and taxes or tributes, whatever you want to call it. Like, it makes sense if you pay something for services rendered. But you can't make people pay if there's no services rendered. And then, like, if you're in a society and like, old people should be taken care of as best as we can, you know? the problem is like, I understand how some people might think, like in a very, almost an animalistic way. Like, some herds, if one of the herd is hurt, they don't walk slowly with them behind. They leave them behind, and then and so that they can keep moving forward, and then otherwise more of the herd could die by whatever is stalking them. So, that's how nature sometimes works. But we are not animals, so we need to do at least what we can. But that brings up a whole other debate. It doesn't mean that but it's too tough to have that debate right now, and it's not relevant to the story right now. Because, like, if you're struggling to get by, it is tough to acknowledge or accept the fact that you have to pay for other people who don't want to or can't work. But it shouldn't be the people who don't want to work. It should be people who really can't, like those older people. And the reason why you should feel you want to take care of them is so that you can be taken care of. Because it's going to happen to all of us, That's what the society should be like. But I guess it depends. I like the idea of, so in my country, if you make donations to non-profit organizations, you get like a tax cut. It doesn't mean you don't pay taxes. And I like the idea of that because I trust some non-profit organizations more than I trust the government to use the money right. But they're still going to take a big cut, the freaking government. So, wait, there was something else I wanted to say. I forgot. We were talking about government, taxes, taking care of others. Oh, I like the idea of, like, imagine if you could choose. If the money was being used right and you could choose to pay taxes rather than being forced to. Or at the very least, if you have to pay taxes, you don't have to pay it to the government and trust them. Like, what if there was some kind of open system where they tell you, this is where we need money for this is where we need money for this. So then you have to pay taxes, but then you can pay it into certain organizations that delegate. But that's what the government is supposed to be. The government is supposed to be an organization that delegates where the money goes so that everything gets taken care of. But they don't. So you need to freaking cut out. I guess that's where it comes in, where they want more smaller centralized governments, because it's easier for us as people to make sure that our money is going where it should go if it's a smaller government rather than a big government taking care of 60 million people. Because it's too many people sending money to one place and they can't be held accountable. Whereas if you break it up into smaller, towns taking care of themselves, and it kind of links up. It's so difficult. I mean, if it was easy, there wouldn't be any of these issues, right? I feel you will be moving corruption from one place to many other places. No. You're giving the power back to the people. If, like, right now we have a giant government with thousands of people, and if we have a problem, we don't know who to take it up with. But if you have smaller communities taking better care of themselves, then I can actually say, like, hey, you are it kind of is supposed to work that way right now. Like, we have a mayor and this and that. It boils down to the same thing. But what I'm saying is, maybe we should just be more involved in whatever government there is. Because right now we have that system. We have the bigger government, and we have mayors, and we have this, and we have, what's it called? Municipalities that are supposed to take care of the roads, take care of this and that. So moving corruption from one place to many other places is not really, it doesn't actually change things. What I said, it is how it works. We have a big government and we have smaller governments. But what I'm realizing is the problem is maybe that we're not involved. Because we just trust them to do whatever. Because how does it get this far? How did it get to this point where celestial dickheads can just fucking do whatever they want and get away with it? Well, I guess that is what the 100-year void will tell us. Whatever happened there is how they got here. And that's the whole point of the story, is to maybe as like a warning, don't let it get this far again. Don't let this happen again. Because it's not like we haven't had terrible shit happen in the world. Like, how the fuck did World War II happen? How did we let Hitler do that? He slowly, like, brainwashed people and propaganda and blah, blah, blah. In the same way that king, he cut off one part of his country, and he knew people would start seeing them as lesser. You dehumanize them. It doesn't happen overnight. But I mean, that's what... So I'm just saying we should be more aware and more involved. I guess that's the only real answer. Okay. So it ends with Jenny being captured. I don't have any notes in particular. I guess I could just say that this is the chapter. This is the chapter where Kuma and the genie join Iva and the dragon. The two pillars. The two, what are they called? Where did it say call them the two pillars? Here. The freedom fighters led the protesting countries around the world after the arrival of the great era of piracy and the tragic fall of O'Hara. The group took up arms, and the addition of Kuma to the twin pillars. Oh, the twin pillars of the Revolutionary Army. And then also, Dragon told Kuma he learned how to use weapons because I spent some time in the Navy. ... Sadly, I couldn't find any of the justice they wear on their backs. Oh, and just to let you guys know, when I talk about like these kind of difficult topics, taxes and governments and shit, I'm not expecting to find a solution or anything. I'm just kind of airing out my thoughts that the story brings up. So I'm not asking for like answers or solutions because we're not going to figure that out here. For now, I'm just like kind of telling you what the story is bringing up for me. So like just kind of, like I said, airing out my thoughts. And yeah, I want to maybe try and come to my own conclusions. But then it would be good at some point, like I do want to, like if the story says this is going to happen or that is going to happen, like the story is doing its own, it might even be Oda airing out his own thoughts from what's going on in the world. We don't know. But my point is, yeah, it's not like I'm expecting to come up with any solutions here or telling you what's right or wrong. That's not what I'm ever trying to do. I'm just trying to figure out, like, what the fuck? How do we not end up like this? Okay, how many chapters was that? 3? I think I can do one more. We read 2, Kumachi and Jinny. So we might just be able to do 3 today in total. Okay. Chapter 1098 is called Bonnie's Birth. And the picture is Soul King. Brooke busting out a solo using an electric eel to power his guitar. Wow, that's cool. Revolutionary Army HQ, Baltigo. Baltigo. Should I make a note of that? Requesting aid. The rebellion in Tumi in the South Blue is overmatched. There should be a text on the side from Oda regarding the manuscript. I didn't finish the art in time, Oda. Sorry. What do you mean? Manuscript? Does he mean this picture? Okay, requesting aid. The rebellion in Tumi in the South Blue is overmatched. We can't go. Our ship's already loaded with the injured from Goa Kingdom. Goa Kingdom. Where did we see Goa? Oh, it only has 15 pages. I guess I'll figure that out as we read or see it. What is Luffy's hometown? Oh, I will screenshot this. And this was how long ago? Don't answer that. I don't need an answer. The last time indication we had was okay. Wait a minute. I just want to put this in here so that I remember that. So Goa is Luffy's hometown name. How do I add, oh there. Image from photos. There we go. So sorry, this is chapter 1098 and it's called Jenny's Birth. What? Bonnie's Birth. Okay. That's a very nice Kuma visual right there. Maybe next time. I know that he said it. I know I missed at the start of chapter 1098. I know I missed the little note that Oda made, but if I've said it before, but I was talking about story stuff. If I missed something, you don't need to tell me. It would have been nicer, I feel like, if I just read it and if I commented on the visuals, like then you could tell me, oh, Oda said this and that. But you don't have to tell me in advance. Like maybe I wanted to see the visuals first and then decide for myself, oh, it looks different than usual, whatever. If it's not different, then it's not different. It's better if I read the chapter first and then you give me the information. But in general, with story stuff at least, if I miss something, please do not tell me. If anything, you can tell me, you might want to look at page this again, if even anything. But my mods will usually decide if I need to know something, if I don't notice it by myself. Okay, so let's start on page 2. Requesting aid, the rebellion in Tumi and South Blue is overmatched. We can't go. Our ship's already loaded with injured from Goa Kingdom. Iva, I'll go. Don't even think of it. You've been pushing yourself too hard ever since then. Huh? He's huge. Who is that? Who is that and where did he come from? Ever since then. And then Ginny's been captured. This is a very nice, I said it already, but this is a very nice Kuma zoom. That's right. It seems a celestial dragon had his eye on her and she was taken on a government ship to be the celestial dragon's wife. We won! Finally, 3 years of war have paid off at last, and it's all thanks to the Revolutionary Army. Our unit was wiped out by a surprise attack. It's the Revs again. The Revolutionary Army are the true heroes of the people. I'm so sorry. It's me, Dragon. I'm tired. I'll take a ship home. I'm so sorry. So, Ginny was captured. Ever since then, I don't know if this is a reference to then. You've been pushing yourselves ever since then. We won. Who won? In the Goa Kingdom? Ginny, a captain of the Revolutionary Army, so I'm on this page. So the Goa Kingdom fought for 3 years. Rhetorical question. Remember, mods will help me if I really need it, or I will stop and ask. But that's good. I did want to know that one. Just be careful. Jenny, a captain of the Revolutionary Army, was abducted and made into a celestial dragon's wife. Roughly 2 years later. We're here, Bonnie. She was made? 2 years? And she... Wait a minute. Let me just go back to the previous chapter. "14 years ago in a certain country." So this happened. The last page of the of chapter 1097 was this one, right? I took a screenshot of it because Jenny looked so cute. And it says 14 years ago in a certain country. And this guy said, "You look happy, Jenny. Is it showing? Tomorrow's the big day. We're gonna meet up with Kumachi's group. Remember, I can't wait. I wish I were Captain Kuma. He gets the affection of everyone's crush." So at first I was thinking, like, when she said, "Is it showing?" I had a certain other idea about what she meant was showing. But she meant her excitedness, right? Because I was thinking, okay, she was someone's wife for 2 years being forced. And then she escaped. It looks like from the few pages here, it looks like she escaped and we said, "We're here, Bonnie." So then I was like, oh my fuck. But imagine if she was already pregnant before, but I can't see that a celestial dragon would let her keep her baby if she was pregnant before. But she could find a way, maybe. I don't know. Kuma, come quick. It's from Jenny. Hey, I'm back. Back to the lower world. Jenny! I got sick. See, they didn't want me anymore. They dumped me off. But after 2 years, I got sick. Lucky me, huh? Sick? I really wish I could see you all, but this is me saying goodbye. What are you saying? I thought I'd never see you again. Where are you? I'll be there at once. Oh, this is where you can see it looks rough. I think it looks amazing. It just makes the emotions that much. I'm sorry, Kumachi. I'm dying. It won't be long now. Oh, so she means sick. What? I appreciate your concern, but don't come looking for me. Dragon, Aniki, watch over Kumachi. He's too kind for his own good. Move it! There's only one place she'd come back to. Hey, Kuma and Kumachi, just remember, I will always, always love you. Kuma! You're back? Where's Jenny? Is she here? She is, but her face and body, all of her skin, turns blue and hard as stone. After it's been exposed to natural light. She said. And then there's the memory of when they were eating together. I'm so happy. I wonder what happened to her. Let's get married. I'll make you happy. She crossed the sea by day to ensure her baby lived, in case anything happened to herself. Somehow, she made it here safely. Oh no, this is like a recently born baby. Don't worry, Jenny. I will raise your daughter. No, all wrong. The bottle's at the wrong angle. Like this? You're drowning poor Bonnie in milk. Here, let me do it. She's so darling. She needs an iron cage to sleep in. If you roll over, you'll crush her. That is fucking brilliant. Oda is a genius. Oh, look at her go. She's a champion drinker. She's got Ginny's appetite. Not enough. And then she called him daddy. Aww. Oh, and then he feeds her. And then all the old people take care of her. And then there's fighting. I don't know what the fighting's about. And then he's giving her a bath. And then there's more fighting. And then Sabo. Kuma, what are you doing, man? Why shut there all the windows in the church? Shut the door. Look below her eye. Oh, a blue stone? Wait, is that what killed Ginny? I'll call the doctor. Please do. Really, when you go into sunlight, let's take you out for a test. Don't you dare. Well, it's not white leg disease. I'm sorry, I don't recognize this one. Why does this old lady look like Snake Bachan? A little bit, though. I don't think it's her, though. You're quitting the Revolutionaries? Bonnie's caught the same disease? Yes. I don't know what to do, but I want to be with her. Very well. Live without regrets. We'll ask every doctor in the world that we can. I appreciate that, Dragon. Maybe that's where Vegapunk comes in. Because, well, he's a scientist, but, I mean... Ah! 7 years ago, Bonnie, age 5. 7. And that's where that whole spoiler thing comes in. Man, that was so annoying back then. So for those of you that... I mean, I guess officially now, the spoiler is not a spoiler anymore. But I don't remember what episode it was, but I did let everyone know. Sad people spoiled that. It was shocking at first. Yeah, and everyone was supposed to go through that experience by themselves, but it was impossible the way that people were going on. And it was such, like, literally anyone. I'm trying to be as kind as I can. Anyone who made those kinds of arguments back then and spoiled people because of the arguments they were making, And the calling, how to say this? They're really not worth talking to. If someone tweets me something, you shouldn't check their profile because obviously you could spoil yourself. But if I find out like they're one of the people who argued that stuff, I would want to talk to them less. Okay, but anyway. 7 years ago, Bonnie, age 5. When a dog barks, you don't bark at them. Like, yeah, exactly that. That's a good way to say it. Those were 2 times dumb. One for the spoiler, one for the argument. Anyway. Run away! Don't get eaten by the vampire! Get lost and don't get found, stupid brats! Nyeh, you can't come this far. Nyeh. You're a vampire who can't come into the light. Take this cross. This is a church, idiot! Dish. Ow! You want me to chase you out there? Ah! Wait, Bonnie! Please, don't go outside. Even the doorway makes me nervous. You're such a chicken, Daddy. I'm just kidding with them. Well, don't do it, even as a joke. I won't. I don't want to make you sad. Aw, you've grown up to be such a good girl. Stop it, cry baby. You know what they did? They made fun of my face stones again. Isn't that weird? It's a disease. I can't help it. What? Your jewels? Yikes. They're just jealous because it makes you look so beautiful. You think so? Yes, I love them. It's kind of like kids getting made fun of having freckles. And now everyone wants freckles because it looks so pretty on those TikTok videos with the girls and they zoom into their face and like, they're so beautiful. But kids are silly. That's why we have to teach them. Oh, thank you, George. After you're cured, Bonnie, if we went on a trip, where would you want to go? Do you know about Sky Islands? There are islands in the sky? That's right. I saw it in a book. Oh, dear Lord, guys, she's reading a book. The world government is going to come for her any moment. For various reasons. But now, because she read a book. Oh my God. Maybe Nika will be there, since it's so close to the sun. I bet you'd be excited about that. And then he does the Drums of Liberation song. So cute! The sky would be a huge adventure. Maybe we'll do that once you turn 20. And where was your 19th going to be? Fishman Island. I'm afraid that what your daughter has is an incurable disease known as Sapphire Scales. You know what it is? Please, not so loud. I've only heard of a few cases in recent memory. All kinds of natural light, sunlight, moonlight, cause the stone to spread. But even if you block the cause entirely, it will eventually spread over time. I'm going to be brutally honest with you, sir. Your daughter has 5 years to live at best. She won't see her 10th birthday, and there's no known cure yet. Age 10? It can't be. Oh, that's why Kuma agreed to... Oh, okay. I'm gonna go pee and be sad for a minute. I didn't almost trip. Hola. Okay. So one thing I want to take note of, well, that one lady said, she referenced white lead disease. That is what Law had, or Law's town. It was about white lead, right? And if I remember correctly, white lead disease, if it's that, it started because there was some kind of resource and they were selling it to people, or but they didn't tell the people that the resource or the thing or the material or something made them sick. Not the material, like it was like a type of something. So they were maybe like making furniture out of it, or I don't know, but that was what was making people sick. And I don't know if it was celestial dragons or just some kind of elites from the island, but they were selling it to the people knowing that it was making them sick. And then when the sickness spread too much, they were like, kill everyone on the island. It's too late for them, blah 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 blah. We don't want to make the rest of the world sick. And so basically it was like a genocide, a slow genocide, or something. If I remember right, Law had it, and Corazon was taking him to doctors and stuff to cure him, or to... Can someone remind me of that? That's probably my favorite backstory for any character. I mean, there's so many good backstories, it's really difficult to choose a favorite. But when someone asks me the question, what's your favorite backstory in One Piece, that's usually the one that I think of first. Is Law and Corazon and their whole... Oh, they stole the devil fruit, Ope Ope no Mi. But wasn't he taking him somewhere as well? They were going to... Oh, maybe he was taking him to doctors trying to find out if there was a cure, and if there wasn't, because someone would find out in the hospital that he had that disease, and then they chased him away, right? So I guess they ended up stealing the fruit, and then, yeah, that's how he ended up getting cured. Okay. So I'm currently on this page. Here, where he says she won't live past 10. It can't be. She's so healthy. Is there really no way to stop the disease? Boo! Wah! Bonnie, I thought you were asleep. I heard that. What about age 10? Age 10? What do you mean? I heard you say age 10. Wait, are you crying? Is it about me? Oh, age 10. Yes. At age 10, would you believe that doctor? He told me that you won't get better until you reach age 10. Until you reach. It seems so far away. I was feeling a little down about it. So I'm going to be better when I'm 10? And then I can go around the world with you. Oh no, what do I do now? Of course. You'll be better when you're 10. Yay! What have I done? 1 year later, the nightmare returned to Sorbet Kingdom. Hey Kuma! Kumachi! You have to help! King Bekori's gone and done it again! It's 16 years ago, all over again. He's gonna burn everyone he thinks is weighing the country down. He's inhuman, I tell you. They're slaughtering folks in these streets. I think there was a much... Oof, I can't make that joke. But I think there was a much easier way for the king to go about. He should have just installed suicide pods and made the old people feel worthless, and then tell them, you can do suicide pod by your own free choice, your own free will. He'd easily get rid of all the undesirables if he made them feel worthless. Not too difficult. And then just let them take care of themselves. Sorry. That's not really a joke. It's more of my own commentary on some things, but it's not necessarily the right way to think about it. But yeah, I've heard a lot about, it's a difficult conversation, but it's like, it would be easy if undesirable people who drain your money would just off themselves, right? Like, you're very, very, very depressed. Oh, you can here sign this form. You can just climb into this pod here, and then you can go to sleep quietly. It sounds so dystopian to me, but I mean, I haven't heard all the arguments regarding it. It's just, that was the first thing that came to my mind when I heard this guy's plan, which is just like, let's burn them. We just cut it off and we just burn them. Okay, if you want everyone to rise up, do that. But if you want to slowly like cut off a dead leg as you see it, like do it smart. Do it in a way that you think you're helping them. Anyway. I kind of feel like I want to do one more chapter, man. But it's already almost 2 hours. The chapters are short, like, but they're so stacked full of like information and stuff to talk about. It's difficult. What's really interesting about Bonnie is, what is it called? Sapphire? Blue? What is it called? I really love this visual right here. It's like, ah, she's just like her mom. But I think it's really, really genius of Oda. The fact that Bonnie isn't Kuma's daughter and he was raising Jenny's daughter. And that we know who her father is. It's like, it's genius to me because Kuma was being held responsible for the sins of his ancestors. And when I say sins, I mean sins, because there's like, oh, your dad murdered someone, so I hate you. Or your dad murdered my dad, so I hate you, or whatever. Like that, you can't hold someone accountable, but then there's like, oh, your ancestors read books. Like, both are ridiculous. You can't hold kids accountable for the real or perceived sins of their ancestors, but perceived sins when it's something like looked into history. Oh my god. I am still curious though just about what this so-called sin is. I think that Saint Garcia guy said something that made me wonder if it was about saving people. Like, they probably had an interest. They tried to free people or something. They gave people hope. I don't know. But what makes it genius about Jenny is the fact that Kuma would never hold her responsible for, like, okay, it was technically her dad that, well, possibly, we don't know for sure, but most likely it was her dad that, stole her mom, kidnapped her, raped her, whatever, everything. But Jenny herself, Kuma, would not hold Bonnie accountable for that, because that would be insane. Interesting. At this point, when I see backstory from Oda, I can't help but think, nice, Oda is bringing the secret sauce. Do you want to know how much time is left of this flashback so you can decide if you want to do one more? No, it's okay. That won't help you make my decision, because everyone had to read this one per week. So I can end anywhere. For me, the way that I make my decision is Can you reread next page and focus on the last two panels? You mean the last page or what page? The last page? Sorry, I'm waiting for someone to answer. Let me just add here. The important part, I think, is also that I want to take note of was at the beginning, somewhere at the beginning, well, not at the beginning, actually at the end of the last chapter. Wait, I have it on my phone. I took a screenshot. Jenny was kidnapped from a certain country. You didn't hear? I was asking which page you want me to reread. You said the next page, but I was on a random page in the middle. So, like, maybe the page number would be helpful. Like, last page, first page, middle page, page 13, 12. Okay, I will go back in a minute. I'm just going to take a note of the fact that Jenny was kidnapped or abducted is maybe a better word. Abducted by a... Wait. Jenny was... Revolutionary Army captain, Eastern Forces, and she was how to spell abducted? By a celestial dragon from a certain country. So I'm not sure if the certain country, the name is being left out because it's not important. It's just like some country where she was, or because Oda doesn't want to reveal it now. Oh my God, Nina. Nina. Come say hi to everyone. Come say hi to everyone. Meow. She's like a squeaky toy when I pick her up. Oh, yeah, cute baby. Oh, yeah, cute baby. Okay, there you go. Walk around for 5 minutes and then you can ask me to go outside again. So anyway, Jenny was Revolutionary Army captain, Eastern Forces, and she was abducted by a celestial dragon from a certain country. In this chapter though, she escapes, or no, she was let go. She said dumped, like dumped somewhere, like they just got dropped off. Let me just see what she exactly said. Wait, was it this chapter? Oh, Nana 9-8. Huh? Oh, I didn't change the number here. So 1098, Bonnie's birth. We won. So the Goa Kingdom. So that was important. After 3 years war, the Goa Kingdom won. So when 16 or something years ago, when that king made the rule about the slaves, the rule was overruled by the Revolutionary Army, but the king was still in charge. So they didn't really like, they didn't boot him, but they kind of pushed and showed they pushed back, and that's why he kind of backed off, but he didn't actually like get booted. So that's why 16 years later he went and implemented the same rule again or something. I'm surprised it took him that long to just go back to his old ways. So she's roughly 2 years later. Let me just add that. Ginny was a Revolutionary Army captain, Eastern Forces. She was abducted by a celestial dragon from a certain country. In this chapter, though, she was let go 2 years after being forced to be someone's wife. Abducted and made into Celestial Dragon's wife. Roughly 2 years later, she says, "We're here, Bonnie. Kuma, come quick, it's from Jenny. I got sick and they didn't want any more and they dumped me off." She was let go because she got sick. Bonnie eventually develops the same illness that killed her mother. But people who get, I'm hoping this is the case, people who get a terminal illness and then the doctor tells them, you only have this long to live, like 3 years or whatever. I've heard stories where, you know, because people lose hope, they end up dying in just a few months, even though they got 3 years to live or whatever. And in other cases, people, like, they choose to live their life like every day is their last day, literally, almost. So, but then they actually, you know, get cured or the illness disappears or whatever. So both things have happened. So I'm hoping that, yeah. But I'm thinking probably Kuma, in order for his daughter to get saved, that's why he agreed to become this mindless blah blah blah. You know, I can't think of any other reason why he would have ever chosen to hand his life over like that. Only, you know, your child would make you do something like that. So what I'm seeing here, because I'm back in the chapter on page 4 right now, chapter 198. So Kuma says here in the corner, "What are you saying? I thought I'd never see you again. Where are you? I'll be there at once." And then I don't know if that is supposed to be her. I think so. Like maybe she's holding her hand over her mouth or something, crying or trying not to cry. I don't know. Like in the corner there. Oh. You see? Because the speech bubble comes from that where it's almost like she's doing this and just dot dot dot. "I'm sorry, Kumachi, I'm dying. It won't be long now." But then he leaves because he knows it's Silhouette holding a Denden Mushi. Okay. Okay. So then Kuma leaves because he knows where she's going. But here we always see, the last thing we see of her is her hand full of those jewels. Her face and her body, all of her skin, turns blue and hard as stone after it's been exposed to natural light, she said. And then there's a little piece there. I don't know what that is. But clearly it doesn't seem like other people can get it from just coming into contact with her. But I don't know what that is either. In the middle there. Is that her? A foot? Maybe her foot. Sometimes it's like one of those. Have you seen those pictures where if you look at it, like some people see a rabbit and some people see it's her leg? Okay. I wonder what happened to her. And then Kuma is just kind of like holding her whole body in his hands. Oh. And he thinks about when she said, "Let's get married, I'll make you happy." And then he's just like holding her. She crossed the sea by day to ensure her baby lived, in case anything happened to herself. Somehow she made it here safely. So then Kuma is at the like a Rorschach. What is a Rorschach? Page 12. I'm supposed to. Okay. If you roll over, you'll crush her. She needs an iron cage to sleep in. Now I understand that part. I didn't understand it at first. Okay, so then he's raising Bonnie, and she calls him dad. And, everyone's so happy, and they're taking care of her, and they love her. Okay, wait, my cat wants to go outside again. Hi, Knox. Hi. And they eat together, and everyone takes care of her. And he's still fighting in the Revolutionary Army at this time, and then gives her a bath. And that scene where he's giving her a bath kind of reminds me of the My Neighbor Totoro movie. There's a scene where the dad is like bathing with his two little girls, and then they laugh in the bath like, ah, ha, 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 or something like that. So cute. But he's still part of the Revolutionary Army, and she's literally sleeping in a cage. That's so funny. I didn't see that the first time. I was thinking, like, what the hell? What is he sleeping next to? Where's Bonnie? But then I just kept reading because, I want to read the chapter. But now I see that it's literally her in a cage. So then there's the part with Sabo. We know that backstory a little bit. What are you doing? Why shutter all the windows in the church? Shut the door. Look below her eye. That's when we see the blue sapphire disease thing. Well, it's not white lead disease. I don't recognize it. And then that's when he quits. When she gets sick is when he quits the Revolutionary Army. I want to be with her. We'll ask every doctor in the world that we can. She scares the kids. They tease her, but probably they have a crush on her. Okay, here's page 12. This is the page you wanted me to read carefully. Please just don't go outside. Even the doorway makes me nervous. Even as a joke, I won't. I don't want to make you sad. You know what they did? They made fun of my stones again. Is it that weird? It's a disease. I can't help it. Your jewels? Oh, that's why she's called Jewelry Bonnie. Is that what you wanted me to notice? I see. But does that mean she still has it, or does she, or maybe, but, now can someone send me a picture of Bonnie and Egghead? I don't want to Google something now and then get spoiled. Does she have? I don't want to Google it because I'm scared of a spoiler. You think so? I love them. So it's kind of like when people make fun of you of something, or you're insecure about something, and then it becomes like you learn how to own it. So that's basically why jewelry bunny. Your jewels. The only thing I saw in this panel was the way she said yikes, and I just imagined the way he went up close to her, and I was just focused on that part. After you're cured, where would you want to go? And then she wants to go to a sky island. She wants to go to Fishman Island. Okay, so then he finds someone comes eventually, because Dragon and them said we will ask every doctor we can to come and see her, because they obviously want to help. Is this a good picture? Here's two. So I don't know if it's like she has like a piercing. This is where in the manga her jewels would be, but I'm still thinking, in my mind at least, she must be cured because that's what Kuma sold himself out for. Maybe it was a really expensive treatment or something. People do stuff like that. There was an episode of Mentalist where this lady wanted, her mother needed like a liver transplant or something. So she was cheating with her cousin at a casino somehow. And yeah, they were taking a lot of money from the casino because she needed to save up money for a transplant for her mother. Okay, but I don't know yet. So don't confirm or deny my thought on this. Even if you think the answer has already been revealed to me or whatever, don't say anything. But yeah, so there a doctor comes and he calls it Sapphire Scales. That is the name of the disease. He did, yeah. She did have the money in the end, thankfully. Bonnie eventually develops the same illness that killed her mother. It is later identified as Sapphire Scales. That's interesting. Like, I wonder about, and sometimes diseases happen. That's life, but I'm so curious. This specific disease, it's like we know the origination from white lead, and we know that it could have been prevented, or at least the amount of devastation that was later done could have been prevented in many ways, and this whole situation could have been improved if certain people didn't take advantage of certain things, and so on and so on. So what I'm curious about here is, why did she develop the Sapphire Scales up there? Like, she was there in the Marijoa with her forced slave owner husband guy. So why did she develop that illness there, and how? Because the way that, for example, some sicknesses work is that if you can pass it on to your child through childbirth, but it doesn't necessarily activate immediately. Like, they're not born and then they have it. It could they could be fine for a while, and then but it's underlying, and something, whatever reason, the son in this case, eventually just, I don't know. She obviously always had son up until a certain point, but then maybe the disease matured enough. There could be various reasons. I don't know how illnesses work exactly, but I'm just wondering about Sapphire Scales, like jewels developing on your skin, hardening. It's not just any illness. Oda chose this specific disease. I feel like there's an origin of it and a meaning behind it that we'll eventually maybe learn about. Maybe not. Maybe it's just a one-piece disease, but I feel like we got a history behind the white lead disease So with something like Sapphire Scales, it just feels like there's gonna be a more to it, you know? Okay, but the chapter ends where the king has now not just cut off the bottom half of the kingdom and said they're not part of us anymore, that you can now take them as slaves, whatever, they have no rights. He went a step further, and he's gonna burn everyone he thinks is weighing the country down. He's inhuman, I tell you. They're slaughtering folks in the street. So I will continue reading next time, because even though today we had just 3 chapters, there was just so much to talk about and think about. And I'm glad I kind of read the last one twice, because, yeah, I want to remember the stuff. And that's why I don't want to just read fast and move on to the next one. But, wow, 2 hours to read 3 chapters. That's a little bit insane, but like I said, Oda gives us so much information, and I like how he's telling so much with so little. Like, imagine it, 15. Okay, but to be fair, I was about to say, you know, in 15 pages we get so much, but it's also thanks to the fact that, you know, One Piece has been built on this foundation of chapters upon chapters upon chapters. So, like, by now, in less time, Oda can tell us a lot, because we know him now. We know, well, we don't know him literally, but I mean, we can make a lot of inferences about characters and things and stories, because we've seen his patterns. We've come to know his themes and stuff, and where he might be going with something, or what he's trying to say. So my point is just that, you know, after all this time, I feel like we can get so much from so little. And it's not so little, but you get what I'm saying. It's not a criticism or anything. I'm just saying 15 pages and I feel like I read a book. You know? Well, 15 pages, 3 chapters. But it's like, if you talk to someone every single day and you get to know them, even if you never know them 100%, and sometimes you might still misunderstand, but my point is, when you get to know someone, after 5 years or whatever, they will say 1 or 2 words to you and you will instantly know what they mean, because, and that's the kind of feel I get with One Piece at this point. And I mean, I can't imagine what some of you must feel after like 15 years with it or more. But I've only been watching and now reading One Piece for 6 or 7 years, and I feel like, yeah, it's like a friend that is telling you a lot. But you still can't predict their behavior. You can't predict what's going to happen next. The world is interconnected. You can infer relationships and locations just from small details. Yeah, and like, I can't even do it to the extent that some of you can, because this is my first time reading it, or watch. Like, I watched it, and I've read here and there. I've read some arcs, but I'm still very new, actually. Yes, I've seen 1,000 episodes, but I've seen them once. So my point is, if I had 15 years, of course I would have, you know, read it by now, watched it again. So I can't imagine how, like, if I feel this close to the story and the characters and stuff, how close must some of you feel, you know? It's like saying, shut up, Sotos, before he even makes the joke. You know what is about to happen. Okay, well, thank you guys for your patience with my slow reading and my, like I said, airing out of my thoughts as the story progresses. I know that some of you must be super excited to get to later chapters and chat about, you know, theories that are further along than this. So I do appreciate the patience, letting me have my experience at my own pace. So yeah, I'm looking forward to next week, though. Hopefully I'll be able to read 4 chapters then. Let me just quickly see here. So next week we'll start with chapter 1099. 1099. I still haven't figured out who's my sponsor for next week. I need to let them know. 1096 1098. I'm mostly super excited eventually to start chatting about theories. Yeah, but I'm a little bit worried, like, when you read something for the first time, you're just, like, I just found out that Bonnie isn't Kuma's real daughter, and that was my assumption. So my point is, it's difficult to make a theory like boom right now. But when you give it some time and you start thinking about things and, like, how many of you come up with ideas or things to say or like stuff when you're in the shower? Like, okay, you're washing your arm or you're washing your hair, and then you think about all the things that is going on in your mind, stories, work, friends, family drama, whatever. Stuff keeps going along in your head. So my point is, if I read a chapter, I might not come up with a theory like in that moment, but I will write down stuff, and if I have anything to add or say or put together, I will do that. But I don't want too many people, and I know this is me being pedantic, but it's tough. Like, I don't want too many people necessarily to plant their ideas into my head because I want to come up with an idea. If someone tells me something and then I think it because they told me, then it's like a little different, and I'm like, no, wait, let me figure it out myself. But that's not really what it's supposed to be like. You're supposed to, when no one knows anything, you should hear other people's theories. I'm just worried it influences my own theories too much. But I guess I'll get used to that with time, because you're going to hear 300 theories from 300 people maybe on the internet and stuff, and some of them will be true and some of them won't be. But what's going to be fun, even if it plants some ideas into my head, is doing that with everyone. Like, it will be an active, thing. Like, we could do it together. So I'll get used to that eventually, but it's going to be a bit tough because I want to try and come up with my own theories. So let me just see here. One Piece 1092, image of Egghead Bonnie. Okay, so that is what. But what I want to know is, someone said, do you want to know what Iva said to, what Ivankov said to Kuma in Marineford? Did no one post that quote or something? Weekly, I didn't think about predictions and theories much, but seeing community discussion, I can elaborate my thoughts better. Okay, but once again, thank you. I'm going to upload this now and move on to the next section of today's stream, which is a reaction to Summer Wars, sponsored by Antonio. So yeah, thank you guys, and I'll see you next week for the next... I don't want to stop, I want to keep reading, but I'll come back next week with more.